In this video, we're just continuing on from the last. We're looking at our new reverse chain rule technique when we can see a derivative of a function divided by that function, and we're applying it to some nice trig functions and a few definite integrals. All right, so how can we use our new technique to integrate cot x and tan x? Well, check this out. Cot x is just cos x over sine x. And that is exactly this form, right? Cos is just the derivative of sine. What does that mean? It means my answer to this is ln of sine x. Now, often you'll see we put it inside a modulus function, ln of mod sine x, and that's just because we can't take ln of a negative. And sine does go negative, so if you mod it, it stays positive. So ln of sine x is the integral of cot x. I think that's quite nice. What about tan x? Well, tan x is sine x over cos x. Now, that's not quite in the form we want because sine x is not the derivative of cos x, minus sine is. So what does that mean? It means that my answer is just going to be minus ln cos x plus c. Now, you'll often see this presented in the following way. We can use the log rule that a power can move up as a coefficient can move up as a power. So that's the same as ln of cos x to the power of minus 1. But what is cos x to the minus 1? It's 1 over cos x, which is sec x. So ln sec x plus c. So that's kind of nice. We can integrate cot x and tan x using this reverse chain rule. And I think it's surprising that the integral of some trig functions involves the natural log. Now think about how different those are. The natural log is the inverse of e to the x, an exponential function. What did the exponential function have to do with trig? It's really nice when different areas of maths that we don't think are related come together, and the more maths you do, the more you'll see different parts of what you know in maths come together in really beautiful ways. Okay, let's also have a look at applying the reverse chain rule to some definite integrals. So can we find the exact value of 3x over x squared plus 4 between 0 and 2? So do we have the derivative of a function over the function? Not quite, because the derivative of our denominator is 2x, not 3x. So I better do a guess and a check here. So I'm going to guess that the answer is ln of x squared plus 4. And I'll check, and when I check, I see that I get the derivative of this function, 2x, over x squared plus 4. Okay, so I wanted a 3 there, but I've got a 2, so I better make things 1.5 times as big, right? 3 over 2 times bigger to increase that up to 3. So my answer then is just going to be 3 over 2 times ln x squared plus 4. Okay, not plus c because it's definite integral, so that is what I'm going to be subbing 0 and 2 into. So I'll sub in 2 in first, and we get 3 over 2 ln 2 squared plus 4, well that's 4 plus 4 is 8, minus 3 over 2 ln, and then we've got 0 squared plus 4 is just 4. Okay, now we could, I guess, in this question just leave it there, but very often questions say find the exact value of an integral, and they'll say give it in the form, for example, p ln q. So like a single logarithm, or a single amount of a single logarithm. And they might even stipulate that kind of q should be 2, or they'll tell you what it is. So I want to stitch these together. So here's a nice way of doing this. I'll factorize out 3 over 2, and that gives me ln 8 minus ln 4. And then we can use the fact that a log rule is that log of a minus log of b is log of a divided by b. So that's 3 over 2 ln, and then ln 8 over 4, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 3 over 2 ln 2 is our answer to that question there. Okay, last question. Can we find the exact value of the integral of cot x sec squared x dx between pi over 4 and pi over 3. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we don't currently have a derivative over a function. But what have we got? We've got cot x and we've got sec squared x. Do either of those ring a bell as a derivative? Well, sure, because sec squared x is the derivative of tan x. Okay, so what's cot got to do with tan x? Well, it's 1 over tan x. So that looks promising because, put my limits in, pi over 3 and pi over 4, I could rewrite this as sec squared x, and then instead of cot x, it's 1 over tan x. And now I do have it in the form I want, because I've got the derivative of tan x over tan x. And since it's the exact derivative, I don't need to bother with my guessing and checking. This just is ln of that denominator, ln of tan x. And I'm going with limits of pi over 4 and pi over 3. So what's going on here? Well, it's ln of tan pi over 3 minus ln of tan pi over 4. Well, tan of pi over 3 is root 3. I'll continue this up here. So that is ln of root 3, and minus ln of, and tan pi over 4 is 1, so that's minus ln 1. Well, ln 1 is 0, so I've just got ln of root 3. It's often nice to express these as ln of whole numbers, or at least rational numbers, but ln of root 3 is ln of 3 to the half, and that's half ln 3. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed looking at some more complex versions of reverse chain rule. In the next video, we're going to explore a mixture of different styles to help you spot which technique to use. I'll see you there.